Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Hope your weekend is starting off well, and thanks for being here. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by Mike Overson of Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team, Remax Advantage Plus. We are live here from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on News Talk 830 WCCO for your questions, comments, thoughts. Interrupt us at any point. We are always happy to be here. Happy to have you joining us as well. In studios today, we've got my friend, Mr. Steve Groen from Standard Water. Steve, top of the morning to you.
So glad to be here. And you know what? It's raining outside. I love rain. Rain's the best.
It is raining. What's up with that?
Well, when it starts to rain, those sump pumps start to run and we get some phone calls. Also helps with wireproofing business in general.
Yeah, again, we are going to be talking. We got a lot to talk about today. Mr. Mike Overson, Scott Wolmering, and myself, Ryan O'Neill. Here we go. We're going live on WCCO. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And again, comment on the stream with any questions, comments, thoughts that you have. Here we go. We're going live on air. Well, good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Hope your weekend is starting off well. And top of the morning to you. A little rainy here in downtown Minneapolis, but we are grateful to have you joining us for the Minnesota Real Estate Show. This is a local show. We are live every Saturday morning at News Talk 830 WCCO. Also on all your favorite social media streaming channel. You can catch us in studio as well throughout the show. Don't hesitate to interrupt us. 612-294-6949. Again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. A lot to talk about today with the real estate market, with the mortgage market. In studio today, we've got my friend, Mr. Steve Groen with Standard Water. Good timing with a rainy Saturday morning here. But again, welcome your questions, 612-294-6949. I have to give just a quick note, Steve. I know that tonight you are going to a big concert.
I am. Green Day, they are my favorite band in my Spotify. I have over 30 favorite songs. I'm kind of a Spotify nut. I have like 12 different playlists.
Fun.
Rock, but and rumor has that you were rocking last night.
So yeah, you know what? I
never thought you'd be like a heavy metal sort of guy.
It is actually kind of funny because I went, my good buddy Tom Dvorak called me up a couple months ago and said, "Hey Ryan, I've got a ticket. Would love to go with you to Metallica." So we were one of, I don't know, 70,000 people, maybe 65, whatever US Bank Stadium holds. And it's funny because I did put up a little Facebook photo of us, and people are like, I had one comment like, "Wow, that was a plot twist. I didn't think Ryan would be into Metallica."
Yeah, can you sing some Metallica for us? I would like that.
Oh, actually, and here's the thing.
What's that thing, a beast under your bed? And like, what is that? How's that go?
Well, Metallica, again, regardless of your age that you're listening to the show, Metallica is a band that, I mean, the people at US Bank last night, all ages, all demographics. I think arguably they probably have the biggest following of any band in the world. I mean, it was just, and I guess there are two shows. The first one, and then Dennis and I were talking before the show, tonight and then Sunday, they're not playing the same song in either show.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So so I think, yeah, some people were like, "Hey, I want to hear more of the hits," but yeah, it was a great show. Wonderful. Just a ton of fun.
Is it all the original band members? I guess
yes.
I don't follow them that close. And then who was the cover band?
Pantera. So Pantera was, which is a little bit heavier for those that Pantera's a little bit heavier. So it started at 6. Metallica went on closer to 9 o'clock. Again, I can't thank my friend Tom enough. Wonderful tickets. We were super close, but all the band members are late 50s, early 60s. But it was, if it is I don't know, it's just amazing to me their following, and I'm sure for a lot of bands around the world, it's they have that, but Metallica has, it's just like a cult like following. I mean, there were
And-
literally probably 70,000 people there.
And also for those of you that are not Ryan O'Neal, like loyal followers, you're a musician by trade. You and your brother have a dueling band. Like you play concerts. You have millions of downloads yourself. You're a star in your own right.
No, I wouldn't go that far,
I
but
would.
we do the O'Neill brothers. Tim and I get the band together every year at Christmas time. Do a few concerts, singing, playing on the 2 pianos, pianobrothers.com. But yeah, Steve, we're going to bring you up on stage this year. Maybe we'll pull you up at Christmas time.
My piano playing abilities peaked in 8th grade. But I can still play the Iron Tanner. I love Scott Joplin.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. Thanks for asking. And again, thanks for joining us, folks, here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show, 612-294-6949. We always do like to give a little bit of a snapshot, real estate and mortgage wise in the Twin Cities. What's cooking right now? New listings, new homes for sale in the Twin Cities. Pretty even compared to last year at this time. They were down just very slightly. There were 1,440 new properties. We got pending sales down very slightly, 1,052 pending sales. And then the overall inventory of homes for sale is up still, 13% increase of more homes for sale. Here's the interesting one that fellow agents, brokers, really all across Minnesota and Western Wisconsin, that we are feeling, our sellers are feeling, the market time, average market time has increased. It's up to 35 days is right now the average days on market, which is up about 13%. So Steve, not everything is flying off the shelf like during COVID. Things are sitting a little longer. Buyers are a little bit more picky, looking at pricing, looking at amenities. And so sellers, it's important you've got a good agent helping you.
Yeah, I think some of this has to be a function of pricing and the interest rates, wherever that meets on a graph. But and the interest rates may have come down here a touch too here recently, but still, if you're looking at the whole thing and there's with the supply and demand, I would think that's, in other words, the prices are probably a touch high. That's the short version of my.
Yeah, what's interesting, Steve. So again, to that point, people ask about pricing. Pricing has actually slowly and steadily increased still as well for a median sales price. Partly because, again, we still have a very, very low number of homes for sale.
I find that unbelievably fascinating because the interest rates from where they were 4 years ago, I mean, it's crazy.
Well,
they're
again,
so much higher. You would think that, like, if you look at what you have to pay your mortgage, like what's different in 4 years?
So again, right now, the average rate on a 30-year mortgage, again, sharing some stats from Freddie Mac, it fell this past week to 6.73 for the week. This is actually the week ending August 1st, they shared. But rates have ticked down. Rates have ticked down. And so what's happened, they went on to talk about that there's been a huge surge in refinances. So more people are refinancing. They said they jumped 16% per the Mortgage Bankers Association year over year. And so, I think, again, people during COVID, Steve, rates were a lot lower. Okay. But life happens. You have kids, you get married. Unfortunately, sometimes there's divorces, death, different things. And so people have been moving. The dam has been broken. And so there are people moving for a variety of reasons. And from a buyer standpoint, this is, in my opinion, a really good time because you're not competing against 10 other people for the same house. you might be competing against one. You may not be competing against anyone. And so Mike, I was talking to Mike Overson, and Mike, nobody knows what's going to happen with the election here and interest rates, but Mike does feel that rates are going to continue to tick down a little bit, maybe to the low sixes, the high fives. We don't know that for sure, but what we do know right now is the current environment for buying. And right now, if you are a buyer, I think, again, personally, it is a very good time simply because from a competitive standpoint, you're not like COVID when you had 30 people that were lining up. And that was a lot of price ranges, 300,000, 500,000, 800. I mean, really kind of all price ranges. So we're at our first break. Nice to have you on today, bud.
Well, great to be here.
Green Day, man. You're doing Green Day, Metallica.
Oh, yeah. We're going to rock it.
Yeah,
tonight.
Hey,
Tonight.
real quick. I always tell my dear wife, Kathy, in another life, Ryan would have loved to have been the front man of that kind of band. I really do love that heavy stuff. And it's funny because I took Scott once to Motley Crue, which is not as heavy, but he's just not into that at all. He's like, what are we doing here at the State Fair? And so anyway, enough music. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show, 612-294-6949. We got some great listings to be touching on here too. Appreciate you joining us on social media as well. We'll be back after the break. Hey, thanks for joining us. Deb, thanks for your comment. Metallica was fun, totally fun. It would have been fun to go with you, Steve.
Well, we can still go. They have airplanes. We can go somewhere.
They are playing Sunday night again.
Do you remember the show Billions?
Oh, yeah.
There's one of the main billionaire guy on there. He flew to a private jet to him.
Going to Metallica shows. Yeah. Going to private shows. But it is all ages, all demographics. It is it's pretty crazy. If you're a fellow agent, broker, you're watching, listening to the show, what are you seeing right now with the changes? We've had all these changes with the industry as of August 1st. There's a bunch of new paperwork for realtors. The commission is no longer listed on MLS. So now agents, we don't know. Is there a commission being paid out? What are you finding, fellow agents, any brokers watching, listening? What are you seeing with the changes so far? How are you feeling about it? Has it been good? Bad, but yeah, Steve, we've had massive changes.
Why were those changes made? How did those changes come to be made?
Yeah, there was a big lawsuit, a big nationwide lawsuit that, we're just on social media, friend, right now. It's all good.
But I thought we were supposed to talk in here a little bit.
Yeah, so there was a big nationwide lawsuit and against all the brokers for kind of thinking that all the brokers were colluding against consumers from a commission standpoint. And so there was a settlement with the National Association of Realtors, with all of the major national real estate brokers. One of the big changes with this is the commission is no longer listed in MLS. So we as agents normally could look and say, okay, this is an Edina Realty listing. They're paying out 2.5% or 3% or 2.7%. Now, when we go on MLS, there's nothing on there. There's nothing on there else. So we have to call the other agent or go to the broker website. So in this case, go to edinarealty.com or remaxadvantageplus.com to find that. And so that's a difference, Steve. And I know you have been thinking of buying for a while. But as a buyer, that is something that your agent will talk to you about too.
Yeah, I'm still renting. Still thinking about it.
Still thinking.
It would make it easier if I knew exactly where I want to live. Like if someone says, "I love Minnetonka," I don't have that. I don't know what that is. So I think that's part of. If I felt comfortable and confident with where it was, maybe I'm overthinking.
Yeah. Yep. That is a big part of it. So with those changes, a lot of form changes for agents, brokers, and different conversations. And we'll talk a little bit live on CCO too. We go back on air here about some of those changes. What I'm hearing with the industry is that things are moving along well. It is not the end of the world. Um, More conversations are happening, but good things. Deals are still happening. Deals are still closing, which is good. So here we go. We're going back live on air on WCCO. Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us. Hope your weekend's going well. Every Saturday, we like to also feature some of our listings for the Minnesota Real Estate team and REMAX Advantage Plus. Miss Sue Marty, great agent on the team. She has one in Minneapolis. It's 310 East 18th Street, number 201. It's priced at $194,900. Again, $194,900. It is a 1-bed, 1-bathroom, recently updated. Sue says buy for less than rent. It's got hardwood floors, lots of windows, in-unit laundry, and underground heated garage. Again, that's 310 East 18th Street, number 201. And the other one Sue has is actually up in Scandia. So up in the north. This one is listed at $999,900, a little bit under $1 million, 10740 230th Street. And it is a beautiful retreat, Sue said. It's only 40 minutes from downtown, a 4-bed, 3-bath, 28 acres. So again, 28 acres, 500 feet of lakeshore. It's on a nature lake, Lake Manning, 3,700 square feet. It's got an eat-in kitchen. Features tons of cabinetry, stainless steel appliances, patio doors, large deck, and overlook to a wooded area. It's got a new wraparound deck, very cool. And the pole barn had 2 horses. The posts are still in place to make it a horse hobby property. Check that out.
Do you get the horses too? They come with it?
That would be fun. The horses are not included that I'm aware of, but 10740 230th Street North in Scandia for $999,000. Be sure to check that out. That is a very nice looking property as well. Again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us every Saturday here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show for any questions, commentary at all. August 1st, Steve, we were talking about new changes to the real estate market. New paperwork came out for the practitioners, for the agents, the brokers. Some new conversations regarding commissions are happening now. Commissions are no longer listed on the MLS. They used to be listed on MLS. They are no longer there. So there are some different times for our industry, but the short version of what I'm hearing is a lot of good. There are more conversations happening with buyers or sellers regarding commissions, regarding the process, regarding representation. But the world has not ended. The real estate world has not ended. For a lot of people, people were really stressing out, understandably, kind of freaking out. But as we suspected, things have kept moving and deals are still happening, which is good, Steve.
That's awesome. I think there's a lot of people still on the fence looking for homes, wondering if this is a time. It's probably the time.
Yeah, it is. And I think you brought up a good point because my friend Steve has been looking for a little bit for a property. And, our approach as a team always is, again, when I first started in the business in 2003, every conversation I would have with a client is I'd say, hey, Steve, there is no rush. There's no pressure. You do this when you want to do it, when you're ready to do it. And I think, again, any really good professional agent is going to have that approach because you can't force people to buy real estate. There isn't any magic wand that says, all right, you're going to buy today, Sue or Steve. You need to build a relationship with people. And then when they're ready, you want to be their person that's looking to buy or sell. And so I think your point's a good one. Interest rates are higher during COVID. And so you look at costs. But I think, when I was at the Metallica concert last night, I noticed walking to US Bank, all of the apartments, all of these downtown apartments, nice places. that are renting for $2,300, $2,600, $3,400, $3,800. I mean, super expensive.
Mhm.
And so I think the reason we talk about looking at potentially buying is you're either renting something or you're buying something. And right now, you are not going to be competing against 800 people, which you were during COVID. And that is, I'll tell you, as an agent and a buyer, that's a helpful thing, Steve.
Question for you.
Sure.
Someone wants to buy or sell, and they're just looking at the time of the year. So we're halfway through August, then September, we're into fall. Is winter a good time to buy? Better time to buy? Seems like there's fewer homes for sale. But,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
maybe there's fewer people that don't want to move. So maybe it's a opportunity.
yeah, timing is, definitely. Yeah, obviously the spring market, you've got a lot of people that are looking, in the spring market. More people, generally, in the summer, you're able to get out, in Minnesota versus the middle of winter, and you got 6 inches of snow. But the interesting thing is, after a couple years of doing this, I'm like, wow, there are still a lot of people that move in winter. They could be deal seekers that are thinking, hey, maybe the competition is not as great. Maybe I can get a little better pricing at that time of year. Maybe it's they're forced moves, again, relocation, growing families, divorce, death. I mean, a lot of things for people are moving. But I think generally speaking, Steve, again, springtime is spring and summer is, again, when we as a team, if we look at, closings wise, those are always the biggest months. But it's just a personal decision. I mean, you have to make that choice at some point when you're ready. It may be now, it may be 2 years from now. That's okay. But your agent should really just help you understand conditions, situational, proactive work to help you find something. That's partly too. A good agent should not just be looking at MLS. You got to look all over. You got to door knock. You got to send letters. You got to do a lot of things to find that property. That's what really good agents from all of the companies in the Twin Cities will do for you. And you need somebody proactive. You think of your salespeople with Standard Water, you got a lot of good people, but you think of who is your best salesperson. He or she is probably somebody that pounds the pavement, picks up the phone, is involved in life, is active. Those are the people that are doing business, Steve.
I don't care what you're doing in life. You got to put effort in.
Yeah.
You can say what you want about someone, like all these super executive people, the Steve Jobs, the Elon Musk, all those people. They work their tail off in ways that people don't even understand. And it's the same with anything. Simone Biles, right? I mean, she's worked her tail off in ways no one will understand. And I don't care what you're doing in life. You actually got to put the time in. You got to put the effort. And part of that is your heart into it. Is your heart into it?
Yeah.
Because if your heart's not into it, then it's going to become painful work. And now you can't put the time in.
It was fun watching Miss Simone.
That's crazy. She's 27, I think.
Well, so there was a picture I saw her next to Shaquille O'Neal. So she's 4'8", but the number of the celebrities that were out to watch her, I think that was cool to see. You saw all these folks that wanted to see her specifically because of just that ability. My brother-in-law, Doug, is a longtime gymnastics coach, and it's kind of awe-inspiring to see the athletic, the height on her jumps, the flips. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
I think they said she was approaching like 12 feet off the floor.
Yeah.
It's like 12 feet. Like, I can't get to 12 feet with a ladder.
It is crazy. It is crazy. 612-294-6949. We're already at the halfway point of the show. After the break, we're going to be diving in a little bit more to talk with Steve with, again, Standard Water. Great guy, owner of a great company. Before we do break, however, I did want to touch on one other listing. This is a nice one. Tara Cardenas, has a wonderful listing in Bloomington, 10440 Johnson Avenue South, for $400,000. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath Rambler. It's in excellent West Bloomington location. It's just 1 block from the schools. It's got easy access to downtown, airport, and light rail. It's an energy efficient home with a 97% City of Bloomington efficiency rating. Wow. Spacious floor plan. It's got 3 bedrooms on the main level, over 2,000 square feet, private, professionally landscaped lot, a finished lower level with a 4th bedroom and a large family room, oversized garage with an electric charging station. Check that out. 10440 Johnson Avenue South in Bloomington. That is listed for $400,000. And there's actually going to be an open house today, Sunday or Saturday, 12 to 2. 12 to 2. Tara is a great agent on the team, and be sure to check that one out. Folks, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Steve, nice work, bud. It's just you and I today. Just you and I on social media. Thank you, folks, for joining us. We got a lot of people joining us. Hey, don't hesitate to chime in. You got a question, comment, thought. You want to stump Steve? This guy, by the way, I got to give a little shout out. He not only owns few companies, I mean, very successful guy. He's a CrossFit guy. You are like a fit machine. You make me feel like I need to start doing something.
I see my inadequacies, but thanks for the compliment.
Tell people, though, you do the CrossFit thing.
Yeah, I compete in it. It's fun. I went through the CrossFit Opens, quarters, and semis this year. Last year, I did a competition at CSU. I did a game day comp, and then I qualified for Legends in the fall, and I went down and competed against 28 exceptional guys. And
yes.
Finished ninth. So I don't know. It just keeps you going. It's like whatever keeps you going.
Fun. Very fun. Yeah, very impressive. Steve is a great guy, great company. Again, if you go to mnrealestateshow.com, you'll see our various partners that are part of the show. These are people that we have, of course, vetted, that so many of our clients over the years have worked with. Very helpful folks. So again, fellow agents, brokers watching or listening, whatever category you're looking in, from an attorney to financial planner, flooring, handyman companies, home inspection, staging, home warranty, insurance, you name it. Really good people, trusted professionals. Steve, Standard Water. You guys been busy? You've been a lot of jobs?
Busy would be an understatement. It will be a record year.
Really?
Ridiculous.
Why is that?
Because it's been raining. It's been raining. Radon sales are up, doubled. I'm doing 2 a day. Everything's just up. And part of the reason we're able to grow, I mean, if you want to grow a business, you need 2 things.
Yep.
You need more than that. But a couple, you got to have leads.
Yep.
That you turn into sales. That's one thing. And the other is you have to have production. You have people actually have to do the work.
Yeah.
So we have plenty of leads and the sales guys to close them. And then I've got a production crew that's just been crazy. For whatever reason, it's been easier to hire people this year.
Okay.
I've raised my starting wage, and that's probably helped. But we've just got.
What does it pay, for example, in an industry like yours? I mean, what is a wage?
With no experience, entry-level construction, $22 an hour.
So $22 an hour.
$22
Do you have
an
to
hour.
have construction experience?
Zero.
Zero experience?
We'll train you.
Wow.
And it's a trade. So you're installing egress windows. You got to dig a hole, cut through the wall, frame up a window. That's carpentry. That's a skill. Radon. I have my radon mitigation license. We train people to install them.
Yeah.
And then waterproofing. We have foundation repairs. We raise basements. We get underneath and jack up basements. It's a trade. Waterproofing is a trade. And then service. I got 3 guys that run service calls. It's a trade. It's a skill.
Very cool. We're going back live on air on CCO. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope your weekend's going well. Get out to Metallica. Actually, Green Day tonight. Metallica on Sunday if you have a chance. Fun show. Super fun show. Here we go. Welcome back to WCCO. Next weekend, we are going to be at the great Minnesota Get Together, the State Fair. Steve, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm there. And also is going
Yes.
on, I think it starts today, the Renaissance Festival.
Renaissance is awesome down in Shakopee. It starts today.
Starts today.
Okay, that is a Renaissance Festival. Growing up in New Prague, we would always heading up that direction to Shakopee. Renaissance Festival's fun, super fun as well. State Fair, I'm going to be going with my dear mother. I think she's joining us out at the fair. We will be at the fair next weekend. So it'll be fun. My dad, my late father, always loved the State Fair. They would go early in the morning. And just love to go. Dad loved to go to the State Fair. So I'm excited to get out there. And again, feel free to stop by the WCCO booth as well. We'll be there, of course, from 10 to 7 or 10 to 11 next weekend. Had a text message question come in, 612-294-6949, just asking if we are seeing a lot of open houses still in our market. The short answer is yes. We do see a number of open houses, really all price points, all areas, and it does give you a good opportunity as a potential buyer, as a neighbor, as a looky-loo, to get out there and say, hey, I want to check it out and see that. Here's the one change for everybody, though, Steve, that I wanted to share. With all these changes I was sharing about the market and whatnot, the interesting thing is now when you want to go look at a home, so say you find something online and you go on to one of the websites, you click a form and you say, all right, I'm going to go look at this house in Bloomington. Well, technically now that agent, you have to sign, we as agents have to get what's called either a touring agreement or a representation agreement signed with the buyer. Now, this is something, of course, as agents, nobody likes doing, because we don't want to stuff a piece of paper in front of you and say, Steve, you got to sign this before you show any properties. This was part of the lawsuit. So just a heads up for you, there is a thing called a non-exclusive buyer representation agreement, which is what we are using, our whole team is using.
It's non-exclusive. Why would there be paperwork?
That's exactly it. So the part of this lawsuit, this was one of the aspects. So you want to go look at a property today, I've got to send you a form and say, Steve, I'm going to be sending you a non-exclusive buyer rep. This is something that you're required to sign, that I'm required to get. It doesn't obligate you to me, but it'll allow us to go and view this property. Personally, many agents you'll find are not real thrilled with this, as you can imagine. If I'm just meeting you for the first time, I don't want to stuff a piece of paper in front of you. And so there is a little bit of unrest. A lot of agents are like, how is this going to be policed?
Yeah, what do you do if you don't get the signed paperwork?
Well, our friends at MLS, at North Star MLS, have said that they have kind of a little internal way to police this. So this will be new for folks, but just so you know, okay, if you're out there and you're meeting an agent for the first time, you just want to look at a property, it's not the agent's fault. It's not the broker's fault. This was part of this big lawsuit and settlement. So it's just something to be aware of. I would encourage a non-exclusive. If they're trying to have you sign something, just say, look, I'll do the non-exclusive. It doesn't obligate you. But Steve, that's the joys of real estate, my friend. What do you think?
I think it's interesting in life that we focus on the exceptions, and then we take those exceptions and then we make rules and policies around to prevent, not that we shouldn't try to avoid it or prevent it, but the measures that get put into place are unbelievable.
Yeah, I had another text a question. It says, hypothetically, if Zillow says my home
I know what this.
If Zillow says my home is 1.33 million and your estimate is 1.4 million, would you list for 1.53 million but stay firm at 1.5 million? No regrets. And then they said, please be honest. So my thought is, here's just a quick tip. Whether you are selling a $100,000 condo in Bloomington or Edina or wherever, or you're selling a $4 million crib on Lake of the Isles, people search by $25,000 metrics. So by listing it at 1.53, you are losing people that are searching up to 1.5. So that may sound silly, but you'll find that's what people, and if you look at all the search engines now, and when we're setting up searches for agents on MLS, that's what's happening is we're setting it up per 25, 50, 100,000. So what I would say to your question is we would want to come out, look at your property, do a very good market analysis on this to give you accurate pricing. But then when you do price it, let's say it's 1.5, have it be listed at 1.5. Don't list it at 1.5100. Or again, if you've got a $400,000 house, don't list it for 405. Don't list it for 401. You're losing people searching. It's a simple tip, but again, a lot of people are searching online, Steve. There's your deep thought.
Is that Jack Handy? You know, when you talk about real estate, there's generalities and trends and median and average and all this. But let's say the really high end of the market, like $3 million plus.
Yes.
Those would be even more impacted, I would think, by interest rates. What has happened in that market? And I think one of the reasons I'm asking is I actually have a friend who has a home for sale in Minneapolis, and he's had to cut the price dramatically. And he still hasn't sold it.
Yeah, again, market time is increasing just across the board. Market time is increasing. There's a cool tool that we as agents have access to. It's called InfoSparks. And what that does, Steve, is that drills down specifically to neighborhoods, price ranges, styles of properties, and your agent should really be drilling down to look specifically. Where is this one located again? Where's the property?
Minneapolis.
Lake of the Isles, you said?
It's going to be southwest. Yeah.
Okay.
North of Edina.
Yeah, let's just say it's southwest. So you're going to look by neighborhood, a price range, style of home. And what you're going to look and say, okay, how is market activity? How average number of showings? What are we seeing? What are we seeing for price reductions? Agent, yeah.
Does InfoSparks almost like an AI and then says, hey, we recommend this price? Does the software do that?
There are different tools that we as agents have access to that will recommend a price. Your really good agent is going to recommend a price for you, but there are tools like that. There's another one called RPR, which is very similar, that as agents, they can pull up and it's a little bit finer tooth market analysis for people versus just fly by night, or going to Zillow or going to some of these online tools that you have. They're really, truthfully, there is nothing that replaces a good agent that knows a neighborhood, that knows a price range, that has been in the 3 or 4 other similar homes to your buddies that can comment on it, because the agent, he or she that knows that, is the one that knows pricing. And then you really have to follow the expert's advice. That's part of what I think happened during COVID. A lot of sellers were like, hey, we don't need agents. Everything's selling. Right now, not everything's selling. There's a lot of price reductions. There's a lot of overpriced stuff, kind of pie in the sky things. And so it's really driving the value, the importance of a good agent, in my opinion, Steve.
Well, that's good to know. I think the AI in general has just really taken off. Like, I just started a chat bot on the Standard website.
You did?
And it's absolutely amazing. So I can go ask it. I was testing it and I said, like, who is Steve Groen? And just bam, Steve Groen's. And I'm like, this is fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. Can I get a radon system installed tomorrow? Oh, you're asking about install time. The best thing, it's just fascinating what AI is able to do. We could ask, we could go online and ask Google, can Ryan O'Neal be the lead singer for Metallica?
Yes, in another life. Hey, here's just real quick. The funny thing about AI, and maybe you all have noticed this. I don't know have you received an AI written email? I've had a couple emails sent to me that you could tell
Oh yeah.
It's so professional, so polite, and everything's perfect about it. I'm like, I don't think they wrote that email.
Yeah, but then there will be something in there like, and that's why the Pacific Ocean is blue. I mean, it'll just be something like off the wall that'll be in there too.
Hey, before the break, Dennis, I got to ask you real quick. Share with listeners, what's your fine son doing this weekend here?
Went to Metallica last night, and he's going to Metallica tomorrow.
He's going to now. Are you going to join him, Dennis?
No.
Dennis, come on! I want to see you out there.
If it isn't old Chicago.
All right. We'll let you off the hook. Hey, we're at the final break here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show, 612-294-6949. Steve Groan, Standard Water, great company. Perfect timing on a little bit of a rainy day. We're going to dive in, talk a little bit about what you're doing, Steve, to help folks as well. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Steve, talk a little bit about what do you guys, what type of work do you guys do?
Well, we do waterproofing,
Okay.
egress windows,
Yep.
radon mitigation, and then foundation repair. So if you go in your basement, you have a horizontal crack, stair step crack, you want that fixed, we can stabilize it. Or we can actually, if it's sinking enough, vertical cracks, we can actually raise a basement,
Okay.
a portion of it. So it gets into something called piering. You do some crawl space encapsulation.
Folks are saying, talk louder for us, Steve.
Oh, talk in the ear?
Yeah, talk louder.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
saying, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. So basements, foundation.
Yeah, foundation repair is a big one. So if you go in a basement and there's stair step cracks, there's vertical cracks, there's horizontal cracks, we have solutions. So for example, one of the solutions are straps. You literally like put a strap on a wall, you grind it in, there's epoxy, it's steel, and then that prevents the wall from moving. But some of the walls have moved dramatically more. We'll actually need to raise a portion of the basement. So we'll dig down under the footer and we will jack up the basement. And so there's a variety of solutions. If you get into a basement and it's got that icky old musty smell, that, you know what I mean, the icky smell, we can fix that. If you have mold problems, we've got a different division that handles mold mitigation, remediation. So yeah, variety of stuff.
A lot of mold. So Steve also has a company called AJ Alberts Plumbing. You guys are doing a lot of plumbing. You've been busy, it sounds like.
We've been buried. All my companies are buried. Record year across the board. It's been crazy. A lot of demand for service and plumbing. And I think if you have great guys and you have fair pricing and you can get Google reviews, get Google reviews.
Yeah.
Your goal.
Yeah.
It's a pretty simple formula.
Yeah, it is good. I've noticed just in transactions, a lot of water is a big issue for agents, buyers, sellers, comes up very frequently. Important to have a good trusted partner that's going to show up, that is reasonable on costs, that is professional, that will get the job done when they say they're going to get it done. That's part of the reason we partner with you guys is you get things done. You do it fairly. You treat the customer well. That's all we can ask for, buddy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Google review right there.
There you go.
Hey, we're getting ready to go back live on air for our final segment. 612-294-6949. Had some good questions come in here today as well. Hope your weekend's going well, everybody. If you can get out tonight, Green Day again. Green Day's playing tonight. What time's the show?
Oh, at
6.
Doors open at 4. They have 3 cover bands.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Favorite Green Day song?
September? I don't know.
September.
I got quite a few.
Yeah, September it is. 612-294-6949. Again, a couple other little questions have come in here, and we're going back live for the final segment. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope your weekend's going well. Thank you. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to WCCO. And again, Hope your weekend is going well. A big shout out. Want to give a special shout out to my buddy, Mr. Tommy Dvorak, who called me up and said, Ryan, I want to go to Metallica with you. And I should say, you know what, these were not seats up at the top of the US Bank Stadium. Tom went all out. We literally were about, 25 yards from the lead singer from the band. So it was intense. It was awesome. So thank you, Tom, for thinking of me and bringing me along. It was a ton of fun. I super appreciative of it. In the last segment here, I did want to touch on one other listing. Scott Wolmering is going to be out there today. Scott's got a listing 11120 Kenora Way. He's doing an open house today, 11:30. So right after the show, 11:30 to 1, Scott will be out there. Beautiful property listed for $700,000. And Scott says it's a waterfront home. It's situated on an oversized cul-de-sac. It's got 117 feet of lakeshore on desirable Lee Lake. It's got over 3,200 finished square feet. Great craftsmanship. It has 4 large bedrooms, 3 baths, gourmet kitchen, formal, informal dining rooms, beautiful master suite, awesome 4-season porch overlooking the lake, a wet bar, billiards room, huge theater room. It's got the esteemed Lakeville 194 schools. Just a ton of updates on this one. Too many to list. $700,000 for this property, and it's a rambler. People love ramblers now. Again, looking at that 11120 Kenora Way, Lakeville. Get out there, check that out, and stop out to the open house 11:30 to 1. Steve Groen, Standard Water. Appreciate you coming on here today. Appreciate you joining us. Last thoughts for listeners about Standard Water, about what you're doing, also about AJ Alberts, your plumbing company.
Sure. Well, here at Standard Water, it's been absolute ridiculous record year. Never seen the sales, the leads. It's going to be records across the board. And the reason for that is we get phone calls, many real estate situations. We do pile of waterproofing, foundation repair, egress windows, and then of course radon mitigation. So I've got a phenomenal crew. 10 of my guys have been with me over 22 years on average. So we have a lot of veterans. So when we do the work, it's done exceptionally well. And then with the plumbing side, toilets, faucets, water heaters, piles of water softeners, RO systems, the AJAlberts.com. So basically, if it touches water, we can do it. I've got teams of people that can do it. So it's been a really, really fun year.
Yeah, good for you, bud. I'm happy to hear that. I'm not surprised knowing you, your leadership abilities, skills, that the companies are doing well. Well done, my friend. Well done.
And you have some great agents. I hear Sue Marty. I actually knew her back when we sort of worked together when she was at Zero Res. And it's always just interesting how people are connected in life. But I'm talking to realtors every single day. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Steve Groen, or just contact any of my companies, standardwater.com or AJAlberts.com, either of those.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help. We serve the 7 county and Wisconsin.
Yeah, I encourage you to check out, again, Steve Groen, Standard Water, AJ Alberts. If you just go to mnrealestateshow.com, you'll see Steve, all of his great partners. Have fun tonight, bud. Have fun at the concert.
I will. Green Day.
Green Day will be fun. Got to give a shout out. I'm heading to a fun family reunion today. My wonderful dear mother-in-law, Susan Krippner, is getting the family together. They normally do it at Christmas, but it's up Marty, Minnesota. And Sue, I should know the exact number. I think it's 13 siblings she has. And it's so fun. They're a wonderful family. They are a ton of fun. They get together just out at a kind of a acreage property at Lois's place, her sister, and it's just a ton of fun. I think it's at Lois's. I'll have to look again, but it's a great group, wonderful family, Looking forward to spending time with them. Just super great people. So excited for that. That's what summers are about, buddy. Doing little family reunions, getting out. And again, next week we will be at the State Fair. You going to come visit us?
I will.
You will.
Absolutely. I love the state fair. It's a
Yeah.
good time.
Hey, I want to give a shout out again. Thank you to Dennis, who comes in every Saturday morning to deal with us at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Reach out to my friend Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wilmering, and I'm Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate team. If you have questions, comments, thoughts, we have a top agent on the team wherever you're listening to this, Western Wisconsin, all over Minnesota. The Minnesota Real Estate team is low pressure, fun. We're about you as the customer, and we're here to work on your timeline. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in, for listening to the show, whether you caught us on CCO or on social media. We certainly do appreciate it. If you're getting out this weekend, enjoy the concerts. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks for so many folks joining us on social media. Steve, good job, bud.
Thank you. You too.
Good job. It was fun to have
It's
Steve.
like you've done this before.
Yeah.
20 years.
Fun to have. It has been 20 years. Can you believe that? By the way, if you're just catching the show randomly, we have done this show in about every time slot imaginable during the week. Sunday mornings, Saturday mornings, afternoons, Thursday nights, different stations. We were on KFan, all kinds of different stations. So we're happy to be here Saturday morning. And we appreciate you joining us. Thank you for taking your time to be with us today. We'll be back next Saturday from the Great Minnesota Get Together. It'll be fun. It'll be crazy. I'm going to get you a corn dog. And that's all I got.